fidget.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Life in Stride podcast. I'm your co-host today, Clark Morin, filling in for the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Strieg. He's currently out in Japan at the moment, doing Japan-like things. Joined beside me are my two co-hosts. I got Scotty Screams Skierce and Danny Perkins the second. We're here coming live. It's a Monday night. The date is November 4th, 2024. Thanksgiving is around the corner. Following that is the good old holiday season, or maybe Thanksgiving starts the holiday season. I don't really know. Is Thanksgiving a notable holiday? That's another question that we might have to dive into tonight. Anyway, hi everyone. My name is Clark Morin, and that's my intro.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Thank you.
Better than
Bravo.
90% of the intros that I do.
Bravo. Bravo. That
Appreciate
was
you
amazing. We guys, welcome back to Live in Stride. I won't repeat everything Clark just said, but we have the Skibbity Ohio Rizzler, Clark Morin himself, coming to you live from Chicago. And Clark has some big things coming up. He's been doing big things. Clark, let's get into it, man. What have you been up to?
Man, just a lot of walking, a lot of ping pong and CrossFit style workouts.
I heard that you were at the Life in Stride shakeout. Is that true or false?
I was at the Life in Stride shakeout. It was a movie, to say the least. It was such a good time to see you guys. Danny, you're a lot taller than I thought, and you intimidated the shit out of me. But Scotty, because I'd seen Scotty at Boston, so it was our second run and everything like that. But my gosh, guys, that was the craziest shakeout. Like, that was awesome. The amount of people that showed up, with BPN being there too, just like everyone was there, and just it was such a good turnout, such a fun time. So I was super happy to be there, and I mean, what a weekend. I actually just wanted to both I'm kind of sad that Strieg isn't here, but I just wanted to shout all you guys out for doing Chicago, because you guys deserve that. It was a crazy day, but I'm super proud of my boys, and you guys did awesome. It was a wild day. That humidity was very strange, but just wanted to shout you boys out. You guys still crushed it, and just big props. I know you guys put in so much work in the blocks that you guys did. So
it was electric. Like, I look back at the top weekends of 2024, and that was like probably number one. I mean,
it was amazing
from start to finish. I mean, we get in Friday. We don't need to recap the whole thing. If you want to know what we did by detail, go back and listen to the Chicago recap episode.
It's a good one, guys.
It was electric. Like, just meeting Floberg in person for the first time, meeting Clark in person for the first time. Like, just I think it's like really special what you guys have up there. Like, training with each other. And Chicago as a city is beautiful. But we were trying to figure out how many people we got to the podcast. I think Scotty's count was like 2,000, something around 2 to 20,000. I think was Scotty's range. Mine was more, the more conservative 200.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom counted, and I think she said there were between 300 and 400 people there at the shakeout. So
it was
a lot
good
less
turnout.
than Scotty's 20,000 estimate. But
for what it's worth, Floberg did admit that was a horrible idea for a venue, because Grant Park was literally like on a map. Like, when we planned it out, it like looked so good, but Grant Park was closed far left and right of Queen Landing.
We just need to meet on the other side of Grant Park next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you all running Chicago next year?
Yes. I'm signed and approved.
I don't think I didn't even submit the application, so I'm pretty sure that window's passed, right?
No, November 21st, I think, is when it closes.
Then let me talk to the man upstairs, and we'll see. We got, we're trying to figure out 2025 right now.
Okay.
And whatever Lord Cunningham has for me.
Lord Cunningham.
Yeah, we'll see what 2025 entails. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I will tell you, I had so much FOMO at Chicago this year. So
yeah,
literally everyone ran the Chicago Marathon. So for me, like, doing this whole indie thing, it's been like, it was so hype every single morning with the text group that we're in and everything like that. But part of me in the back was like, oh man, like, I kind of really do wish I was racing this thing with all these amazing guys. So maybe Chicago 2025 is gonna go down. It would be nice to run it again.
Are you one of those people where you plan out your year like a whole year in advance?
I'm not Cheston, so but God bless that man for being able to do so. I think having, living the life that he lives, he probably has every reason to be planning a year out in advance. I plan my dinners for the week, and that's about it so
That's
far.
better than most.
Yeah, I'm trying. But no, I'm still trying to figure out a spring race right now, honestly. And then on top of that, when it comes to racing marathons, like, I love the idea of doing like repeating races. Like, I will run Boston again one day, and I would love to run Chicago again one day. But I'm at this point in my life right now where it's like I'm 25 years old, and I'm kind of like financially, I'm not able to just like bop around everywhere I want to at the moment, especially like with PTO and work. I was supposed to do Berlin instead of Indy this year. I scrapped Berlin because like it just didn't work out. Like, it was just like flights and everything. And, I'm realizing now more than ever, like, I do definitely just want to keep doing a new marathon each time I do one, though, because it gives me so many opportunities to like travel and see the world. Like, I never thought once in my life I'd be going to Eugene, Oregon, but then I ran the Eugene Marathon. I actually ran the half marathon too. I love it there, though. Like, who would have thought? And then can't say I'm the biggest fan of Houston because like I went there to run the half, and honestly, other than running the half marathon or the full, I guess, I don't really see a reason why I'd want to go. But I'm like learning things and like experiencing these different places through the marathon, which is like kind of always been like a really nice perk. I want to, I can't wait to do the rest of the majors. Again, like I can't wait to do Berlin. I can't wait to do Tokyo. I can't wait to do London one day and experience these places as well as also run a race. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The shade on Houston. I liked Houston, maybe because I ran a PR there. I'm biased, but I thought it was like a clean city. I think Houston gets a lot of hate, undeservedly so, but I thought it was nice.
It's not hate necessarily. I'll break this down like really quickly, but we get there, we're staying right downtown. Nothing's open. Like, nothing's open. It's only open during the business week. Okay. So like we couldn't even go to Sweet Green, like to get like a bowl of anything, because the Sweet Green wasn't open 7 days a week. being in Chicago, like, that's unheard of. You know what I mean? Like, there's things that are always open. So not having like readily accessible things was the first thing. But to like put it plain and simple, my girlfriend, this was the first time she came on to a race with me, and it was the Houston Half Marathon in January of 2023.
Okay.
And so we're all ready. We're leaving our hotel, and unfortunately, like, just like Chicago, just like a lot of busy metropolitan downtown cities, there is also like there's some dicey neighborhoods. There's some interesting characters out about in the middle of the night and in the morning. And so like it didn't really register with me or her until I was in the corral and there was a gate separating us. But this was like, I'm leaving you in the middle of a city where you don't know anything or anyone whatsoever.
Yeah, it's dark out still.
It's dark out, and there's a lot of strange things going on. And it wasn't until like literally 5 minutes out from the race when I was kind of like, "Hey, how are they like? What like are you like?" I'm like I literally couldn't say anything besides like, "Be careful," And and it was just, she was like, and she's a badass. You guys have met Jack at this point, so
don't mess with her.
Don't mess with her. No, she was literally, she found one of those like city bikes and like ended up traversing through different parks and everything of Houston, and like mile 11, all of a sudden I hear like her screaming at me, and I turn and she's on a bike, and I'm like, and so anyway, everything worked out, but it just like, it was like, that was like our first like literal trip together, and it was just a funny way for things to go about
Houston is dead, like, for sure. On the weekends, Cheston called this restaurant to get them to open up on Sunday after the marathon. Like, called them months in advance. It was like, I promise you, I'm going to bring 50 people here. Just open for us. And they're like, all right, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And but like, it's not Well, I think that you Chicago people are a little spoiled that way too, because your downtown is like so lively.
Yeah.
Whereas like St. Louis, it's kind of dead on the weekends. Like I there's like a few cities, and they're all like those, I guess, quote unquote desirable places: L.A., New York, Chicago, San Francisco, where it's like downtown is just popping. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that in most places. Anyways,
Houston was definitely an interesting vibe. Like, it's the fourth biggest city in, I mean, population wise. I think because the suburbs are just like expansive,
sprawling,
like they just keep going. But like, like we were driving down in the middle of the day on, I guess the day before the marathon, and the city is like you can see all the way down. Like the whole city's laid out on block streets, and you can see like 100 stoplights, and there's like no cars. It was weird. There was like no traffic, but it still took you forever to get places because the amount of stoplights at every corner. But I didn't mind Houston too much. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I definitely, that Chicago weekend though, I definitely took Chicago down, like put it in the back pocket of, we're going to be moving in a few years for work, and that could be a destination, man. Like the vibes are off the chart. Love Chicago.
It's a great city.
Give me the pitch, Clark. Like what are the top 3 reasons to move to Chicago?
Top 3 reasons to move to Chicago. It's
no particular order.
So it's walkable, right? And you have a good public transport system. Though, like, if you have a car, you're even better, because then you can really go and test the waters with, like, there's a lot of great things about the city. There's also a lot of great things about the suburban areas outside. I spent a lot of times in the burbs over the weekends with Jack, just because some of our favorite spots, our favorite restaurant actually happens to be out there, in someplace, Wheaton, Illinois, of all places.
Let's go.
But really good food out there.
So reason number 1 is Wheaton, Illinois. There's a good restaurant out there.
Movable Feast in Wheaton, Illinois. Movable Feast, if you're listening, I love you. There's a lot of opportunity for, like, there's so many different things here. Like there's good, I was gonna say there's good sports. There's not good sports here. Don't come here if you like football. I mean, I don't know. Caleb's trying hard. We have all the sports, just no one's really good. But the city's energy about the sports is always there, and we love that. The architecture is beautiful. Like the neighborhoods are they're A1. New developing neighborhoods are going crazy right now with just like, they're bringing in so many different like scenes, and just, it's like there's a whole lot of new being introduced into the city, but there's these old historic components that just stay. And so it's a really nice balance. And I'm just rambling now. I love the city.
What part of town do you live in?
I live in Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park is really close to the waterfront, so that's nice. I don't really frequent going into Lake Michigan, though. I think it's radioactive at this point, honestly. So I don't really spend too much time in the water there. But the only downfall of Chicago really is, like, winters are brutal, and we all get that. So
is it wintertime there now?
It's no, it was a really fall day here, like humid and really strange. I wore a hoodie out on my run this morning, and my heart rate's never been higher because of how I was sweating so much. But it's getting there. Like it's pretty much there. It was overcast all day. The leaves are all orange now. It's beautiful, but it's that time.
I hate leaves.
Doesn't Jeff let you take the week off for race week? What's going on? Why are you running?
Oh. Why am I running? Yeah, no. We've experimented with a bunch of different things, Jeff, and I, thankfully, he's a very, very well respected marathon coach, and you've had him on. A lot of people have had him as a coach. We started our official taper last Friday. No, 2 Fridays ago, my bad. I did a 22-mile workout on a Friday because he wanted me to have a 15-day taper between right after that workout in Indy, which is this upcoming Saturday on November 9th.
Tell us about that workout.
Yeah, the workout. Okay. I'm like trying to remember it. He has his classic Cunningham workout, which he's talked about, which he had Eric do before Chicago. It's a simple, like, it's a 2-mile warm up with a 6 by 2 up, 1 float, pretty much.
Okay.
That's like the Cunningham Classic, and I think he explained that workout to you guys when
It's
you
the
had
Big
him
Daddy.
on, the Big Daddy workout, right? And I haven't had a Big Daddy workout like that since actually the first time I ran my first sub 3, which was at the Chicago Marathon in 2022. For me, he has these bigger tempo blocks put in, and I'm literally gonna pull it up. He's very interesting, like the way that he plans things. So like in this whole 22-mile run that I did, I'm counting 11 miles of total work. The rest of the miles are actually all programmed as easy miles. And the biggest thing between the Clark you spoke to back in April, I think it was like episode 30, literally. Now you're at 84. This is crazy, you guys. Congratulations. Shout out to Life and Stride.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me back. Between that guy back then and the guy you're speaking to now, I dropped my easy pace like a minute and a half.
Okay.
I went from
did.
I went from 7-minute miles down to 8-minute and 30 miles. My heart rate, I got that Coro strap that everyone's rocking now. My heart rate's mostly in the 120s when I run. And so
That's smart.
This 22-mile run started with like a 7-mile easy. So I ran 7 miles easy. I didn't run 7 miles at like a 7-minute pace because it's a big day. No, I ran it easy. And then he wanted me to do 5 miles at around a 5-minute and 40-second pace. And then 1 mile easy between. And then 4 miles at 5:35. So chop 5 seconds off and run it for 4 miles. And then a mile easy. And then 2 miles at 5:30 pace. And so, yeah, I remember the day.
Hold on, I just want to pause there really quickly for our listeners and those of you training for marathons. Clark is running 5:40, 5:35, and 5:20 pace for his pace miles. And he's capable of doing that. And you know what he's running for his easy miles? 8:30.
30.
8:30, 8:40, 8:50 on some days, guys.
That's
I'm not
3
kidding.
minutes slower. Like, run slower. Run easy on your easy days.
It's the only...
Danny, I've been loving these rants lately.
Thanks, bro.
Keep going.
To tangent off of Danny, even like in this block, I did the half marathon as well, the Hidden Gem half, and Floberg was also there and made a neat video on it and everything. But I ran a 1:11 half on September 7th, and same philosophy. Just I was running slow, but the reason I think I attribute like running slower on easy days is because of the volume demand that I've had recently. And I don't even know if recently is the word anymore, because like I've technically been running this volume since probably July. But
yeah,
this is the first time. Yeah, sorry, go.
That's recent in like marathon block timelines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess of course. But we had, Jeff told me that the volume, of course, would go up for the goals that I'm trying to achieve in the marathon. And I was like, bet. And he also told me I'd start to do things like doing doubles. And so we started working doubles into the training program as well on like a Monday and a Thursday. I'd run 10 miles in the morning, 5 miles in the afternoon. And that's a 15-mile day. But what I noticed in turn was like, number one, I knew for a fact that like my pace that I used to be doing my easy runs at, like while I could still do it, I just had a feeling that this wouldn't work out in the long run, no pun intended, with like the volume that I'm going up against. And so the first thing I did was I just said, heart rate strap, play the data, study the data, run the heart rate that, run your aerobic heart rate and then subtract 10 to 15 beats from that and keep it low. And I started doing that, and I just noticed like I felt better after my runs, and quickly the volume, as you guys saw, like I've seen on my Strava, like I was getting 80-mile weeks, which I peaked at like 75 or 80 for 1 week for Boston, right? And now I'm averaging 80 to 85, and then all of a sudden 90, and then 95, and then
Oh yeah.
I had 1 mile. I had 1 week, the Chicago Marathon week. Actually, when I paced Joey for the end of it, I like finished up my Sunday run, and I look and I'm like at 106 miles, and I'm like, I never once thought I'd be here in my life, but here I am, and I was able to finish 106 miles in the middle of a crazy long training block and show up on Monday and run another double and feel completely healthy. And so if there's one message to take away that from anyone is like, listen to your body, but also like don't play the ego game. Just run your easy runs easy and show up ready to work on the hard days. So yeah.
Would you say that's would you say that that's the main factor in you not getting injured this block with this much ramp up volume and intensity?
I think the easy running is for sure a big tribute to not getting injured, but the only other thing I could possibly think would be the nutrition. Like I have never chowed down as much as I'm chowing down right now. Like it's,
you know what? On that note, we're gonna hit rapids and then we're gonna dive into your nutrition because I have a lot of nutrition questions.
Let's go.
What are you gonna run in Indy? Are you gonna run 228, 227?
Is this a rapid fire question?
No.
Listen, I'm the biggest skeptic of myself. Like, to be honest with you, I don't have a time to say. I mean, of course the goal, I put it out on my social, is the goal is sub 230. People know sub 230. That's the goal for me as well. I don't know what I'm capable of personally. I think I just need to show up on that day and give it everything that I can. And I promise you, I promise everyone, I promise myself that I will do just that. So, that's all I can really say at the moment. I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to be healthy.
Respect. Okay.
Thank you.
Rapids.
Respect. All right, Clark, you know the drill. And people listening, they know the drill. And if you're new here, just listen to last episode. I start and end with the same two questions. First question.
Vanilla.
I hate you.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Danny. I've listened to so many episodes in between. Honestly, yeah, I'm sorry. I knew I promised myself I would do that. You might want to actually ask the question, though, if people are like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, right. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
And the funny thing is actually, like, I don't even know this. I'd say, like, peanut butter chocolate. Not a bad one.
Fire. What's your favorite word?
Fruit.
If you had to eat one color of food for the rest of your life, what color would you choose?
Oh, man.
This is a really hard question.
I know.
By the way, these rapid fires I'm giving you today are advanced plus. This is like an AP class of rapid fires. Be prepared.
Rest of my life. Gosh, Okay, the first thing was green. I used to be vegan. I feel like I could pull it off.
Yeah, there's a lot of great options in green. What's sweet that's green? I gotta have sweet. There's a lot of like
green. There's green apples. That's kind of sour.
I'm struggling. Know, man. Danny?
There's mint chip ice cream.
There is. If you get it artificially dyed, yes.
So just green dye.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or like pistachio ice cream. There you go.
See, that was actually a contender. I love pistachio ice cream.
Interesting. I've never had pistachio ice cream. Maybe I'll try it.
Pistachio gelato. You got to try pistachio gelato.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Pistachio gelato.
Yeah.
If you could switch lives with any fictional character, who would it be and why? No, not why. Who would it be?
Peter Parker.
Cool. I literally thought that would be my answer too.
I was thinking Harry Potter, but that sounds kind of rough.
Peter Parker is rough too, but I grew up watching Spider-Man all the time. I'm talking too much. Let's keep going.
Yeah, dude, you're breaking the rules. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Frog legs?
That's freaking gross.
Dude,
Pretty
they're not
weird.
bad.
If you could instantly learn any skill, but it was totally useless, what would you pick?
Yodeling.
What's the color of your couch?
We have two.
What's the color of your couches?
White and an interesting tone of gray.
Hmm.
They both are super cozy though, so they work.
If you could turn any mundane activity into an Olympic sport, what would you win gold in?
Commuting. Commuting.
Oh, that's good. If you don't follow Clark on Strava, do me a favor, go on Strava and follow Clark Morin. Man walks more than he runs, and he runs a lot. If your life had a warning label, what would it say? This is one of my favorite questions.
Excessive like personality. Like that's what it would be. Like warrant, like just be like ready for whatever. don't talk to this guy pretty much.
I disagree, but what's the last dream you had?
Oh man, I was just talking about this. Okay, so I've been having nightmares recently, and it's been involving me like having to protect my girlfriend for some reason. I think this is because I'm watching a lot of superhero stuff, and it's also getting really dark out. And she like commutes back and forth between her workout classes. But now that it's getting dark at 5 o'clock and it's Chicago, I get very scared. But anyway, going back to the superhero stuff, I just finished season 4 of The Boys. You guys know that TV show by any chance? Okay.
Dude, that show's crazy.
It's crazy, right? Well, anyway, I had this dream 2 nights ago where the first one was like 4 nights ago, and it was really horrifying. Like, don't even want to talk about it, honestly, but like, it was scary. It was like, and they take place in our apartment, which is just not cool. Because then, like, I have to get up at 4 a.m. to go run, and I'm like walking around and it's dark, and I'm like, I'm afraid now. But anyway, there was like these. Jack must have done something, I don't know, pissed off these band of superhero chicks, or like these mutant chicks, and they're trying to get in and like get to her, and I'm like literally like holding my back up against our front door, like holding the door, holding on for dear life, just like they're all banging on the other side, and they're like savages at trying to come in, and I'm just screaming, she's screaming, we're all screaming, and then I woke up and like I was there was like a bead of sweat on my forehead. That was the last dream that I had. Sorry to elaborate.
No, I mean, that's an elaboration question. I gave you permission in parentheses. Danny, do you dream?
Yeah, a lot.
Dude, I don't dream.
Yeah, you got to get that REM sleep, dude. You got to
my REM is off the chain. I get like 3 hours of REM a night, bro.
No. All right, here's how. If you want to have a dream, I'll tell you how to do it. You gotta wake up at your normal time, like when your body does, and just go back to sleep, and like just sleep as long as you can, because it's like in the hours of the morning is when you get that legit REM sleep, and your brain just goes haywire. Like that's how you do it. You want to have crazy dreams or like vivid dreams. That's when it happens.
Well, maybe when my kids are older.
I was gonna say you have kids, so you probably can't do that.
No, dude, no. That sleeping in is just not a thing. Mm-hmm. Although Alex and I do have some trips, just the two of us, planned for next year, and I'm very excited about it.
That sounds lovely.
Marathons, that's a fun one. Marathons with your wife. I'm so excited for that.
There we go.
Top 3 BPN protein flavors.
Thank you. Let's go.
An easy question.
Banana French toast.
Oh.
Don't hate me, but vanilla. Honestly, it's so good.
Their vanilla is good. I made vanilla oats this morning.
Mix it with anything. Literally anything. It will work. And peanut butter chocolate's really good.
Yep.
Tony just put me onto that one, and it's
put me onto that, bro.
Yeah, peanut butter chocolate.
It's my favorite.
Good.
I think I literally just put 2 scoops in my oats that I made an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
Fire. What is your go-to post-run meal or snack?
Right away. Okay, it's kind of weird, but I actually don't have like an immediate post-run meal, but I'll always take down like my. Okay, it's gonna sound bad. I was gonna break down my health stack, which is just all my vitamins and greens. I would say if I was gonna choose like post-run anything, I really love either a good oatmeal bowl, but I've been doing my oats hot now. Like I've been microwaving them and getting them fluffy, or just doing a Greek yogurt bowl, one of the two. And yes, BPN protein is mixed into both because it slaps.
Dude, while we're here, what's your health stack?
Health stack, baby. I literally am at the point now where I have the whole like strong line from BPN, so and I have a couple other like outside things, but it's like the strong greens and the strong reds in a shaker bottle, and then I take down like the omega, the joints, and the multivitamin. And then I have these little creatine gummies from this brand called Create, and it's great because like Jack's taking them too, and they taste like candy. You take 3 little squishy gummies, and you get like 4.5 grams of creatine in daily through them, and they taste amazing, and they're fun.
Creatine
solid
is
every day.
Oh, every day, and colostrum. I take a scoop of Armor colostrum, which is like the it's like a nutrient powerhouse. Apparently, could just be snake oil. Who knows? But I'm loving it. So,
I struggle with colostrum. Not because of it.
what are you talking about?
I struggle
like it's
with
a deep internal struggle.
I struggle with that word.
yeah.
I don't want to eat it because colostrum sounds like you're like about to puke or something. Colostrum. It's
I could have said that as my favorite word.
Oh man, I like fruit though. Fruit's a good pick.
It is. I thought you were gonna say pookie. I kind of like.
You were kind of setting me up. Yeah.
That's okay. Second to last question: would you rather never run again, or walk barefoot for the rest of your life?
Dude, I'm walking barefoot.
Which means you have to. Oh, I guess I only said walk. I didn't say run. So you can wear shoes when you run.
Game. It's just grounding at this point.
I asked Caleb McCoy this. We had him on last night, and I asked him instead of "What's your why," which we love that question here. But I asked him, "What is your why for Indy?" And I'm going to ask you the same question. And to preface it, it doesn't have to be super deep. It could just be to get a PR, and that's a great answer. Or it could be something deeper. Or maybe you kind of alluded to a little bit of like something that it could be. But what do you think?
The goal for any race at the moment for me is always going to be like, let's go get that PR, right? Like, let's test the body, let's test the mind, let's push myself to see what I can do. That was the goal for Chicago in 2022, and then every race that followed from there. Just kind of like the same thing with like the account that I made that ended up bringing me to you guys and everything else. I think like there's kind of like this hopeful underlying philosophy with like a lot of people in this space, but like specifically if I'm going to talk about myself, it's to push the boundaries. And so I pushed the boundaries a lot with myself. I pushed my body to levels that I've never ever crossed before. And it was like there was a point in time where like I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this. And then through the process, I kind of learned a lot about myself and learned like, again, it's just an idea that was in my way of like, I never thought I'd be going over 80 miles. Now all of a sudden I'm going over 90 miles. And at the same time, I'm still managing the same stuff that I'm doing in my life. I'm just having to wake up a little bit earlier, or I'm having to go to bed a little bit earlier. or later, depending on what assignments I have to do for finishing up this freaking master's degree that I'm doing. But like, it's all possible. And so, even earlier, Danny, when you asked me like, what's your time goal? Like, is it 2:27? Like, I don't have an answer for you, but I know that, it could be possible. And I think at the end of the day, like, it's just another test for me to find out what I'm truly capable of. And that's my Indy why, at least. It's like, let's find it. Let's find out.
That's what's perfect about the sport, man. It's, Bromka said, it's the perfect thing to pour your whole self into.
Yeah.
And in a healthy way, right? We all need balance, but it's,
and to be honest with you, in an unhealthy way at points too. I mean, I've prioritized this. I think there's a lot of things that I could be doing else with my life, I think, right? But this is what I'm choosing to do. This is the sacrifice that I'm making. Like, the people around me, like my family, most importantly, like my girlfriend who I'm living with, like, she makes a sacrifice every day to let me pursue my dreams. And she supports me entirely, but it's no doubt in my mind, like, there's a billion one other ways people can go about living their lives. I just chose to take marathon running and run with it. Again, no pun intended, sorry, but like, that's the truth. And that's where I'm at. But it's shown me and it's taught me so much. And I wholeheartedly believe it's made me a better person and made me into the person who I currently am, which I'm grateful for. So, yeah.
Scotty, I hope you can take something away from this with your personal battle with colostrum. It's overcomable.
Shout out to colostrum.
Dude, I can do it. We don't have to go into colostrum. There's what is the stuff in? Actually, I'm not going to talk about. Never mind. This. We're not going to go there. Anyways, Clark, question.
Yes, sir.
What is it about running that it, like, maybe to you, but also like answer for other people? Like, what is it about running? Like, I got into this myself 3 years ago. And like, why is it so easy to get so wrapped up in it? And there's so many people, like, you're literally like running, like you're going nowhere. You're going in a circle and you do it every day for so long, like 10 hours a week. Like, what is it about it? Why do we? I'm just like thinking about this for the past 5 minutes.
I don't know about you, but I'm at the point now in my running journey where it's like, I don't really feel like myself if I don't do it. And that could be viewed negatively, 100% addressing it. But like, it's a good way for me to spend my time in the morning. I get a lot of mental clarity from it. I educate myself on runs. Now, I used to be like the no headphones, just run with your thoughts and think about business ideas and everything in between. I don't go on a run without headphones now. Like, I run alone most of the time. So I am listening to podcasts every single chance I get. And I'm learning things through that. And I mean, genuinely, when I wake up and I see like a Life in Stride episode dropped, I'm like, heck yes. Because like, now I have content to listen to. Sometimes it's hard, like nearing the end of the week. You guys upload like twice a week sometimes though, which is great. But a lot of the shows I listen to only upload on Mondays. So like, for example, today I got Nikki B in the AirPods, like talking about high rocks. And I'm like, this is great content. Let's go. But by the end of the week, I'm kind of tapping on my reserves and I'm like, what can I listen to? And I can't listen to any Life in Stride episodes because I've already listened to all of them. Like, literally, that's the only podcast is yours that I have listened to every single episode all the way through. So it's like, and I'm not going to be a narcissist and listen to my episode.
You haven't listened to your episode?
I listened to it like once. I listened to it the day it dropped just to make, I wanted to listen and I was like, do I sound good? And that's why now I'm rocking these Apple AirPods because I want the mic quality to be better. But yeah. But to answer your question, just like, yeah, it's it's just something that like is so routine in me now that like if I don't do it, I don't feel like myself. And I think we all should be doing things that we think will help us to be the best version of ourselves. And so running for me is just that.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah. No, I mean, not a lot to add there for me. I think that it's definitely something that is always there. Like, it's an outlet when you need it. And it's also like a means of just achieving like a higher version of yourself. And that makes it so wonderful, you know? Like, it's something you can fall back on and it's something you can pursue.
It's got to be one of the only things that, like, when you just get, like, beat down constantly, like, in the week, during the week, like, workouts, and, like, you train for 4 months for, like, this, like, goal that no one cares about, really, but you, I mean, like, in our circle, like, I truly care about, like, Indy for a lot of people, but, like, outside of your inner circle,
Nobody
one cares.
cares, bro.
But like, I care about this race for Clark and Danny. Like, I'm super excited, but
it is kind of like a brotherhood or like a, you know, fraternity in that way of like the shared experience of putting yourself every day and just like embracing discomfort to do better. Like I think that like you only really get it if you go through it, type thing.
Agreed.
And I think in some ways that makes it to where like, yeah, we're in this group text with like 6 guys all kind of chasing the same silly goal, yet the it's just silly for people who don't do it, right? Like externally it's silly. It's not, it's really important to us and like part of who we all are.
Yeah. It's special. But everyone has their own special things. It's just that our special thing happens to be moving our left foot and right foot every single day.
Sometimes 8:30 pace, sometimes 5:30 pace.
I had a gratitude moment this morning on my 6-mile easy run. So I start with my buddy Andy, and he lives at the top of this hill. So it's 2 miles down this hill onto flat, and then 2 miles back up. And the 2 miles back up, I always dread because it's like you're ending your run, you're tired-ish, and you're just going uphill for 2 miles. And I'm like, you know what? It was pouring rain outside this morning. My alarm went off, and I was like, I'm just going to text him, and I'm going to text Andy, friend of the pod, and just be like, hey, man, like, I'm just going to do my run later when it stops raining. And I didn't. I was like, nope, we're going out today. And there was a moment where he had a workout, and so he, like, went a different way. And I was just running by myself for the last 2 miles up this hill. And I'm like, this is just who I am. Like, I just go out and hurt on Monday mornings and run in the rain because I wouldn't have it any other way.
No. Nobody's forcing you to. That's the best thing. It's you're choosing to do this for yourself. And
that's like the ultimate test of Danny Perkins the second discipline on a Monday morning, raining, and you got to run up that hill by yourself, and Andy's doing his workout. Like, you had every excuse not to run yesterday. It's off season, it's taper. Like, you could have you could have done whatever you wanted.
Yeah, dude. No way.
That was a win. You won. You beat me today.
And it was a 6 mile easy run. I ran it at 8:20 pace. You know what I mean? And it's like, that was such a mental victory just to get out the door, you know?
These
just do the thing that I said I was going to do.
These taper miles are different.
How often, if it's raining, how often do you afterwards say, well, that wasn't that bad?
Oh, every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Getting started is like, I don't know why you can't remember that. It's like drinking. It's like before, it's the opposite of drinking. Before
Scotty just had a big night the other night. He's talking from experience here.
Yeah, dude. I haven't drank in a hot minute, and I had 3 very strong margaritas and then a shot of Pappy at my dad's house.
Dude, I would be sent. I'm done. I'm the biggest lightweight you could possibly meet. Let me tell you that right now.
Clark, I have drank like 10 times in 2024.
Yeah.
My tolerance was, I went from 0 to 60 real quick, and I was sent. Danny got some fun videos. It was all like in good fun sense,
of course, yeah.
Scotty sent a video of his friend doing snow angels on his new carpet in his basement.
There we go. One of those nights.
Vibes were off the chart.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember that.
But finish that thought. Finish that thought, Scotty. How it's like the opposite of drinking.
It is so running is the opposite of drinking. When it comes to like before you drink with your buddies, you're like, this is such a good idea. Every time you're like, this is so fun. Yep. I love this. And then the next day when you're freaking hungover and you feel like vomiting and your head hurts, you're like, I'm never doing that again. And then literally like 24 hours later, you're ready to just do it again. But it's like so brutal. The day after never gets easier. But running in the rain is the opposite. You're like, I hate this. I do not want to do this. This is horrible. I have this workout. My shoes are going to be wet. I'm going to be cold. And then you get started and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cold. Yep. And then like 6 miles in, you forget. You're like, is it still raining? You're like, oh wait, it's pouring down rain. And it feels amazing. However, there's a point of diminishing returns if you're doing a long run and you're like 18 miles in and it's still raining and your feet have turned into like soggy bottoms. Yeah, then you're not there.
That's a tough day.
That's my thought, Dan.
Love a good thought. Where do we go from here, Scott?
Dude, I tell you, I know exactly where we go from here. Speaking of gratitude, I had a work injury this week. This is not about me. I want to talk about Clark. But I was FaceTiming Wyatt Moss, which, by the way, if you're not following Wyatt Moss either, follow him.
Shout out to Wyatt.
He's in
the New York Times. The New York Times posted him at the New York Marathon running in a tuxedo.
Yeah. He's staying with me at in Indy. He's sleeping on the couch in our Airbnb. And I was FaceTiming him this week.
Is he running Indy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, cool.
And I had just smashed my thumb. I smashed my thumb at work last Tuesday, and it was quite bad. I fractured the tip of it off, and I had to go to the hospital, and they had to remove my nail and give me stitches in my nail bed, and it still hurts so bad, and I can't move it. And I own a landscaping business, and I really need my thumbs. So that's been like a whole thing, and I've been pouting a lot. And Wyatt's like the only dude who's got the balls to say this, but he's like, Scotty, dude, use this as a gratitude moment, man. I'm like, how? And I can't even remember what he said, but he literally did make me stop thinking about it and like smile and like talk about something else. He's like, you have so much to be thankful for. It was something along those lines. And he was like, I'm really sorry your thumb hurt. Like, but I mean, aren't you glad it's not your right thumb? Because you're right-handed, right?
Facts. You know what? That's the energy.
Dude, he's great. But speaking of that, you got the Indy Marathon coming up.
I do.
And this is a big one. We've talked about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's Monday when we're recording this. It might be released like a day or two before Indy, but Lord willing, our fellow co-host Striegel is off in Japan, and he's our editor, so
yeah,
you might need to beg. But what's your day before, 2 days before looking like, and then morning of, and then race strategy?
Okay, you want to talk about nutrition in this too, sort of?
Sure, man.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if it's on your mind, talk about it.
I feel like that's what people like. You hear about the infamous carb load and everything, which I'll talk about and like give my opinion on because I learned a lot from Boston, and then I learned a lot from the Hidden Gem half. In terms of like right now, I'm just keeping everything chill. My final workout is tomorrow morning. It's an 8x800 meter workout. 8x800 at the track. The splits are supposed to be 245. Which is crazy because like that used to be like my peak splits, and this is my taper week split now. 245 is going to be a 5:30 minute per mile pace, which is still faster than the marathon pace that I'm going for. So that will be nice to like turn the legs over a little bit more. I'm going to run them in the Alpha Fly 3s. That's what I'm planning to race in as well. Excited for it. Fueling will be the same as I do on Marathon Morning, which I'll get into, but I'm just going to have some G1M Sport and a Go Bar. And maybe I'll do something extra on Marathon Morning just for extra calories. But I'm not going to do a 2-day carb load anymore. That's what I did for Boston, because most of the time I've done 3 days and I felt like garbage by the time I'm on the 3rd day, just because I'm like eating a lot of food and
it's too much.
And the load that I'm currently doing is far less compared to what I've been doing. So I'm gonna go back to a 3-day load though. But the biggest thing, and I was texting you, Scotty, about this, is like I'm actually just not gonna track macros at all. I'm deciding, like, I've done this for years now. I know the foods that make my body feel good. That's another thing that's key. I know the last episode, and for Boston, I talked all about cream of rice, and I talked all about like ingesting like just plain white carbohydrates because there's no fiber and they're so easy to go down. And these are all true things. These are like this. If you go on TikTok and you search how to carb load for a marathon, you'll see like everyone just say like eat white rice and white bread and shove bagels in your mouth. And if that's how you do it, great. But like my whole thing, like I have a little thing on my Instagram, like Chef Clark and everything. I love to like make these elaborate bowls. Like when I eat pasta, I'm not even kidding. Like half of my pasta is literally, it's like I mix in so much arugula and like I'll roast eggplant and like squash and like throw cabbage in. I don't know why I'm weird, but like I come from like a very veggie dominant background when it comes to like the foods that I grew up eating. My mom was vegan. She raised me vegetarian. So I've had a lot of experience with vegetables and like sweet potatoes over regular potatoes. And I know sweet potatoes have fiber, but like screw it. I had 4 sweet potatoes the day before the hidden gem half and I ripped it that day. And I loved every bite of those sweet potatoes. And I'm finding out like more and more now, I'm just going to eat. I know how to eat carbs. I'm very good at eating carbs. I love carbohydrates. I'm just going to eat the carbohydrates that I like, and I'm going to self-regulate when I need them. And yeah, that's like been kind of the vibe, because I've never been eating as much as I have right now throughout this whole build. I stopped like eating regular dessert and started making literal oatmeal bowls for dessert. And like, I've noticed like my running the next day, like everything, like I genuinely think it's the reason why I haven't gotten injured. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, it's like, I can't even tell you how many calories I've been eating every single day because I'm not tracking, but it's high. It's really high. And yeah. So I think like starting Wednesday this week is when I'll deliberately start like adding more carbohydrates in, but nothing crazy. And then like Thursday will probably be my heaviest day, because Friday I'll keep Friday morning and Friday afternoon. They'll be good carb lunches and breakfasts, but dinner is always going to have to be the lightest meal for me, because I can't go to bed feeling like a bowling ball the night before a marathon, because then like I'll spiral,
Yeah.
But then that's pretty much it. I'm going to keep it with foods that I love now. I'm going to make my oats that I don't care if they have fiber. I'm going to eat my sweet potatoes all the way through because they taste awesome and I feel great. And if I make pasta, yeah, I'm adding a ton of vegetables in, because like this is just what I know. This is how my body feels good. And at the end of the day, I'd rather feel good than feel like my heart rate is 20 beats higher than it should, because it's processing so much sugar in its body right now and not knowing what to do with like all these bagels that I had. So that's my little take on nutrition. Everyone's different though, and however you choose to carb load, like slay,
be your best self. Do you gain weight during marathon blocks?
I don't have a scale, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I've gotten, I don't know, body comp wise, Eric once said like your body comp's changed so much, and I'm like, thanks, Dad. I don't know, I don't know entirely, but I know that if I did know, it would like affect me more. And so I think just not having a scale at home is probably the best thing for that right now. But
yeah,
in terms of strategy, I'll get to last. and mostly because I actually don't have one. Hint, hint. But we are actually, speaking of Eric, Eric is also coming to Indy as well, so he'll be there, which is going to be awesome. We're sharing an Airbnb actually. So after work on Thursday, Jack is in office. I'm also in office. We are going to walk home because we always do that together. And then Eric is going to meet us at our home, and we're all going to hop in our little Ford Focus and drive from Chicago to Indianapolis. And we have an Airbnb there, which Danny, you will be staying with us. So big.
I'm not going to be staying with you. I'm staying with a college friend. I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I appreciate it.
Oh, no worries at all.
He was also going to stay with me, but
gotcha.
Well, Scotty actually evicted me. He said yes, and then he said no.
And then I said yes again.
And so I asked, oh, okay, all right, maybe. According to my version of the story, I got evicted. So I was like scrambling last minute to find a place to stay in Indy. And I was like texting basically all my options. And so my college friend was like, yeah, of course you can stay with us. So by the time you guys came back, I was like already committed. I'm like, you know what? I can't bail on my buddy, So
yeah. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then so yeah, we're gonna get in on Thursday night, Friday morning, shakeout, blue collar coffee with Cunningham running. Jeff will be there, a couple of BPN athletes will be there, like Eric and Caitlin Miller. And then I will be there as well, if anyone's interested in that. And then
I'm interested.
Just hanging out the rest of the day. Might do family style dinner at home. Honestly, there's a good chance I might have an oatmeal bowl as my last meal before race morning. I'll wake up 3 hours before the gun goes off. Coffee, because we all know why. And then have a Go Bar, 2 scoops of G1M Sport. Maybe some rice cakes. I do like those rice cakes, I'm not going to lie. There's a little bit of honey on them. But really just focus on the race, get to the race, and run my heart out, literally. Race strategy is really... I mean, I'm sorry, I should have texted Jeff before this because I was like, oh, I could have talked about this. But honestly, the only thing that I know is that Lindsay Bradley is going to be there, and she's an elite athlete of Jeff's, and he is trying to get her to literally win the female division at Indy, and she's going to be going for sub 230. So ideally, the idea is that we're going to run together and we're going to support each other. So as of right now, the only strategy I know is run with Lindsay Bradley, and I'll take it. So,
dude, have that lead bike with you the whole time.
Game.
It's like a pacer. It's brilliant. Will there be pacers for sub 230?
No, I don't think so.
For the elites? No?
I don't think so.
Maybe that's only a major marathon thing.
Maybe, yeah. So
I feel like I've only seen it in Chicago. Like, I don't remember seeing that for New York. I was watching it on TV, but like there was some really like Rory Linkletter pace. Like, yeah.
Wow.
But I feel like that's a weird thing.
Maybe you're right. It almost felt like they were specific to people.
Yeah.
The Pacers. I think they were in Chicago.
Yeah. What's the fastest pacer you've seen in a marathon? I've seen a 250. There was a 250 pacer at Carmel this year.
Was there?
Yeah. There was like a 250 pace group.
Wait. There was a 240. I thought I saw a 240 somewhere.
I saw a 245 in Eugene, but then...
Oh, wow.
But I was running with him because I was trying to go 245 in Eugene, and he was not pacing a 245. And I looked afterwards, and it's like he ran a 248. And I was like, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's aggressive. Like, if you're going to sign up to pace a 245, you better be a 230 or better guy.
Or faster, yeah.
Yeah.
245 is not a walk in the park.
No. Not at all. Oh, yeah.
So, sub 230. That's the
goal.
Plan. What's that pace?
It's going to be, I think, on paper, like, what is it? Is it 540 or is it 542? I really don't know. Floberg would know. All I know is, like, if I'm going to be real, like, I'm going to go out at 540 pace. That's what I'm doing. And
Striegel ran Indy last year and he ran a 230, and his average pace was 545.
Okay. So, yeah. 540, 542, let's call it that, just for the heck of it. And, The number 540 is just in my brain. So, yeah.
I'm looking her up real quick. This is the best app, by the way. If anybody, this app, I'm showing it to the boys right now. There's 2 toggles, speed and pace, and then it gives you all the splits, and you can.
I need this.
Go to more splits.
What's the app name?
It's called Pace. It's very hard to find.
Oh,
I'll send you the
what
logo.
A nifty name.
Yeah, and it's so you literally can just scroll on the pace. So I'm scrolling 546, 545, 543, and then it will count the marathon. So 43 is sub 230.
Wow.
543 on a course that's dead nuts. 26.2. Dead nuts. 540 pace on a perfect course is 228.30.
Clark, who are you voting for?
Who am I voting for? In what term anymore are we talking now?
All right.
I was actually at the voting. I was voting 2 days ago, and I took up 3.5 hours of my time with my girlfriend in line. And
I voted today, and I stood in line for an hour and a half before I voted.
120 options on the thing in Chicago. 120 options, and it was like standardized testing.
Yeah, so, I felt like I was taking the ACT when I sat down.
Crazy,
dude. Dan, it was an hour. I should probably.
Well, you got to vote tomorrow if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
No, I know. I didn't do early voting. I should have, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to be quicker, honestly. But yeah, it might be because like they open up all of like the local like precincts. So like at least in St. Louis, the way they did it was like the early voting was in like 4 or 5 different spots around the city, and they were like main hubs. But like in your little area, you could go to like your little place, and they'll have a lot less people at each. They have more places to vote, basically, is what I'm saying. So I don't know if it'll be.
Let's just put it this way: Wednesday morning, no matter who wins, some people are going to need to blow off some steam on some runs. Let's just put it that way.
For sure.
Dude, if like the running community, if I knew anything about that, besides select few, like we're pretty chill about that stuff. So dude, speaking of controversial, Matt Choi got kind of blasted by this running magazine for having his brother ride with him on an e-bike throughout the New York City Marathon. And so there was like a sub controversy to this on Twitter. This Zach Bitter, ultra runner, big, he has a podcast and big Twitter personality. He was like kind of blasting the publication for, I think it's Canadian Running. He was like saying, why wouldn't you wait to get comment from the New York Road Runners Association? Because it's literally the day after the biggest event that they have all year. And like, they just like publish this thing just to get clicks. So it's kind of funny, like the layered controversies. Of course, you're going to get on Twitter and go down a rabbit hole and all that. But
of course,
dude, the Matt Choi thing, I feel like he gets a ton of hate just because, well, I don't know. Why do you think it is?
So I think this whole Matt Choi hate thing started with the bib mule in Houston.
Yeah.
When I was there, and I think just people have I think it's just a bandwagon thing. Like Matt Choi, he's a creator and he's just doing his job at the end of the day. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like, right, is he doing anything wrong? I don't think so. If anything, he's probably encouraged a lot of people to start running, which in turn is great for the sport. And so, and every time I've met him, he's actually a really nice dude. Like, from my personal experiences. 100%. So I got nothing against him,
Yeah, and like it's definitely against the rules to have a bike on the course, like someone filming you and stuff. And he's done it before, and his response was like, exactly what you said, Clark. Like, I'm here to get people into running, for the love of the sport, And then there's like people who come back and they're like, no, it's really dangerous. Like, the e-bike was cutting people off from like water stops, and they couldn't get water and stuff. And it's kind of like, I see both sides to it. Like, on one hand, it's like, look, Matt Choi ran a 2:57 I understand you work really hard to like get that goal.
Yeah.
But there's also like the other side of it, which is like, dude, if one water stop, like if you have to slow down for 30 seconds at one water stop and that like blows up your entire race, there's a bigger problem.
Yeah,
and like,
of course.
then you're just placing the blame on this one guy.
Of course.
And I've met Matt, and he's been on the podcast and stuff, and I'm not sticking up for what he did because rules are rules and they're there for a reason.
Yep.
But I also
speaking of that, I think he got permission.
Let me just finish his thought. Let me just finish his thought. He does get like some like outsized hate for being Matt Choi and like the bid muling thing.
Yep.
But maybe he got permission. I would be surprised if the New York Roadrunners came out and said, "Look, we let Matt Choi, this one person in 55,000 person race, have special privilege to have a bike."
Right.
I would be shocked if they came out and said that.
Yeah, I saw a video of, I don't know where I saw it. I don't know if it was on Matt's story or something, of his brother filming. And dude, it was a tight spot. There was like spectators like right there, and he's one hand on a bike, one hand on like a gimbal with a phone.
That guy's talented.
Dude, he's really good at it. He did it at the shakeout, and like I don't know how the frick he was doing it, but and then there was like runners sandwiched him like that. I saw that video before that article came out, and that like kind of made me nervous. But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if you have that big of a following, you're going to get hate for any decisions you make, unless you literally like live under a rock and don't do anything.
He had his brother filming on an e-bike during the Life and Stride Shakeout run in Chicago, and there was a pack of people, and it was tight.
Yeah.
Like it was tight. So I definitely see it.
Yeah. I think he'll be all right. Maybe I think whoever wrote that article probably had some preconceived
had some beef.
Like beef that,
or they just like they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna get clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Danny sent it in a group and said like, "What do y'all think about this?" Basically, and he said, "At first, I thought it was about Wyatt Moss."
Oh my gosh,
dude! How about that?
So vague. It was like running influencer, backlash for running influencer at the New York Marathon, and I was like, oh no, like I hope it's not Wyatt.
Right?
There's no way it would be Wyatt, dude. That guy, that smile never leaves that kid's face.
Yeah.
Chipotle boy.
Cool. Well, anything else you would have hit on, Clark, before we wrap?
I think the only thing I can say is like this year is coming to an end, and it was quick, as all years are, and I think the years are only going to get quicker for all of us listening, because technically we're all getting older. But for everyone that like I've been able to come in contact with through like my social media platform, or like even the people here in Chicago who I see on the trail every single day, like this is truly something so special to me. And so like meeting you guys as well, like having you guys as friends, people in my life, and like people who we've cultivated like ideas together, and like we participated and created that Chicago Marathon Shakeout that was so big, and had Matt Choi attended, and all these other things. Like it's just so beautiful to see like the power of human interaction. And so like I know the holiday times are here, and like we're all getting back into like just closing out this year, and like I don't know, I just want to go back to circulating around like gratitude one more time, just saying like for everyone who's followed me along this journey, like thank you, truly. I never once thought that any of this would come from this, and I'm no influencer. I literally have 3,000 followers, but these 3,000 people who do follow me, thank you for following me. And for all the other people who I've had engagement with, like it really does mean a lot to a guy like me just to like have this opportunity. And so Scotty and Danny and Chris, when you're editing this, and Cheston, big time host of this show, just like you guys are really awesome for making the time to have me here, and also just savages for cranking out 84 episodes on the year so far, and really just honored to be here. So I just wanted to say that before we wrap up, because like again, I never expected any of this. and I don't take any of this for granted. And again, like I ran all those miles for months. I don't take Indy for granted either, though. I know that I don't have to show up and do my thing just like any other day. So whatever comes of it this Saturday, like I'm gonna give it my best, just because like that's what we're here to do. But just incredibly grateful for all of you, and let's just close out the year as best as we possibly can.
Yeah, let's close it out, man. Clark, love you, bro. Thanks for the kind words, and I'm going to be rooting for you at Indy, man. I'll be a few minutes behind you at the finish line, but
I'm excited to see you guys.
I'll be cheering you on.
It's going to be great. I'm excited to see Scotty too. It's going to be awesome.
I will be there with maybe 3 kids. Both sets of grandparents are coming, so I might have like some freedom. Maybe not, but I did buy 2 cowbells on Amazon. And you know how sometimes you buy things on Amazon and you're like, I bet this is going to turn out to be really small and puny. Dude, they're like 10x the size I thought they were going to be.
Oh my gosh.
And they're so loud, I can't even like use them in the house. I like did it. And Cooper, my youngest, started crying because it was so loud. So you will not miss me on the course. Like perfect. I will like I'm very excited to use these cowbells.
Awesome.
It's going to be great.
Close us out, Scott.
Well, this is episode 84 of the Life in Stride podcast with Mr. Clark Morin. We'll plug his socials at the bottom of the sode. If you don't follow Clark, you should. There is a reason that his first episode is the 5th most played episode on the Life in Stride podcast. We've done 84, and his is number 5. Behind Jeff, Caitlin, and Floberg.
Appreciate you guys.
So, I mean, that's, there's a reason for that. So if you haven't listened to the first one, you should. Clark, you're a special dude. I'm excited for you for Indy. But on that note, peace.
Peace.
Love you, mean it.
Love you, mean it. Peace.